Back on OpenLine on a Thursday night. The impeachment of President Trump is our topic, and I want to get right back to our callers because we got a number who've been holding patiently. Kevin is up next. Hey, Kevin. Good evening.
Hey, Roy.
Hey, how are you, buddy?
Hey, I would have said, well, some of the things that Trump, I don't like some of the things that he's doing.
Okay. Have you been watching any of the impeachment?
Oh, yeah.
On TV?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Kevin, have a good night. We appreciate you calling in.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, let's go now to, we don't have that call anymore. Let's go to Carolyn up next. Hi, Carolyn. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Carolyn. Go ahead.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I'm a Christian, and I think this has been the best president to help Christians that we've had in a long time. I'm for Trump 100%. I hope he wins again. I think it's a disgrace what they've done to him. They've been out to get him since the very beginning. I can't think of anything that he's done that I would disapprove of. I don't think he made any mistakes with the call. The man that he talked to said he did not do what they're accusing him of. I don't believe he's guilty of anything, and I wouldn't be a Democrat even if even if I didn't vote for Trump.
Well, Carolyn,
all of them have done nothing but just be a disgrace.
Let me ask you this: aside from the impeachment, and as a Christian, some Christians have criticized the president for his lack of tact, his some of the language he uses in his tweets, attacking people, criticizing people. Does that not bother you?
That has nothing to do with the job that he was hired to do.
Okay.
I don't care about his personal.
His demeanor?
His demeanor. I only care about what he's getting done for America. I think this man loves America, and I think he's done everything he could to protect us. And that's my thought.
Carolyn, thank you. Thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. 737+ is the number. We're going to just keep rolling along here, Professor, because folks are waiting. So let's go to Robert. Hey, Robert.
Yes, sir.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for calling in.
Well, I appreciate you taking my call.
What's on your mind?
I just want to say I'm 81 years old. I've watched a lot of presidents come and go.
Yeah.
Democrats and Republicans. I had never in my life have I ever seen a president be treated as bad as Donald Trump has been treated. Mm-hmm. They had no business with this impeachment. They wanted to impeach him before he ever got inaugurated. And that's a shame.
Have you been watching any of the...
I have voted Democratic more than I have Republican. I don't know whether I'll ever vote Democratic again.
Okay.
But I appreciate y'all taking my call.
Let me ask you this real quick, Robert, before you go. Have you watched some of the proceedings, the impeachment trial?
Yes, sir.
What do you think of the job that the president's defense team has done?
Well, I think they've done good.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
I think he was done. The Democrats on the Congress side wouldn't let him anybody talk on his side, and I think that was wrong. But anyway, they did it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Are you surprised by some of the comments? A lot of them, people who support the president, their line that his own defense team has used is they've been out to get him since even before he was elected.
Well, there's no question that his election was an extraordinary shock.
Sure. I mean, a lot of Democrats, even in our newsroom, everyone said before it looks like Hillary 3 to 5 points in there or whatever it was. And as the night progressed,
his election was a shock, and the Democratic Party really did not think that, and many Democrats really deeply disliked
and spoke out kind of emotionally.
Very emotional, and so I think it's been very hard, and many of the more I would say probably probably the more extreme ones, were talking about impeaching him almost as soon as he got in office.
Yeah.
And some of his early actions, the Muslim ban, some of the other things that happened early on. So there is evidence for that. I mean, the interesting thing, of course, is someone like Nancy Pelosi, who held it off for a couple of years because she said, this is not, there's not a reason to go.
And I thought, I will say, watching, she is not a dumb person politically.
No.
You can't survive in Washington that long and be in the position that she is. And it was really interesting to see what is going to be the tipping point for her. And, is it these young, new progressives in the party who are going to push her? Or is it her own, and it's hard to tell. I can't read her mind. But it's been fascinating to watch where the tipping point was. And then, boom, when the Ukraine thing broke, that was it. That was it for her. The pressure was enough to say, okay,
now we go. Yeah.
Now we go. And they've done a good job, I think, the Democrats and the Republicans of saying either we're all in or we're not. We're going to be united front with this and go forward because it's a serious thing, impeachment. All right, let's go to Tony next on line 2. Hey, Tony. Thanks for holding.
You're
Tony,
welcome.
hey, go ahead. What's on your mind?
Well, as far as impeachment goes, it should just go on the merit of what the House brought to the Senate. Throw it out of court. They don't have just witnesses. They don't need any more witnesses. It's a zoo. If there's anything false going on with Trump, it's that he didn't clean the swamp big enough.
Wow.
I think there's a half a dozen people out there that should be charged with treason, build the gallows, hang them up, and we never have to worry again. I know that sounds radical, but Dr. John that was talking, he hit it all the key. The people out here feel the same way, and that's why we elected him as our president.
Tony, let me ask you this. Right now, if you look at the Real Clear Politics average polling, President Trump, head-to-head nationwide against Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, even some polls, Pete Buttigieg, but the leaders show him trailing in most head-to-head matchups. Do you think that these polls are false once again, that even if he is down in the polls, that he's easily going to win re-election?
I agree. I think it's going to be a landslide. I think the polls are just media bias.
Okay. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night.
Bye.
And, I haven't read a lot from the polling people as to their excuse, saying, well, this is why we were wrong, but I have heard theories that there are a lot of quiet Trump supporters out there. They don't want to speak out at the dinner table or at the cocktail party or say anything because they have liberal friends or they hear people talking negatively or criticizing the president, and they're just staying quiet. And there is a theory that they're going to just show up at the polls, and that could happen. On the other side, Democrats are more focused, have this argument this year, and that maybe that it'll go the other way. I don't know. I can't predict the future. What do you think?
Well, the polls weren't that wrong on the actual numbers on the popular vote because Hillary did actually exceed
That's a good point.
Trump. The problem is where that vote is.
Right.
And that's where you get into the nature of our electoral system and its attempt to put together a national survey.
But it does, and again, we're a little off impeachment here, but the strategy, we're going to see President Trump holding rallies in these blue states because he's
not going to hold rallies in blue states.
I mean, in states like Wisconsin.
The
blue wall that he broke down, he's going to need again. Right. He's going to need a Wisconsin or a Pennsylvania or Ohio.
No, he's going to be very strategic. I mean, what was interesting, of course, he had that huge rally the other night in New Jersey. He's not going to carry New Jersey.
No.
But he is popular in southern New Jersey, and he was supporting that congressman who flipped over to
Van Drew, right?
Yeah. So,
optics too.
It's optics, and he's going to go where he is most popular. He's not going to hold probably big rallies in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So,
that would be surprising.
That would be a surprise.
In Nancy Pelosi's backyard.
Yes.
And also should say that, he does know television. President Trump.
That's
and
right.
it was interesting that he even tweeted out he was upset that his lawyers would have to begin in the daytime on a Saturday, and he said that's Death Valley
Yes.
in TV as far as ratings and
Right.
people watching TV.
Right.
They're out doing other things. So anyway, all right, let's keep going here. We've got Jack on. Who's on line 3? Do you remember? Oh, Reverend Fuzz. I'm sorry to keep you holding, Reverend Fuzz. How are you, sir? Reverend, you there? Turn down the
I'm
TV.
here.
Yeah, turn down the TV and go ahead.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Roy, one thing I want to tell you is we've been thinking about what the polls might do and how President Trump might look. Something that I've discovered is that when people get information, they change their behavior.
Yeah.
I had told my friends saying Trump's going to win. His staunch supporters are going to stick with him. But I've seen that when people get information, some of those people change their behavior. And I suspect information is going to continue to come out, and that this president is probably going to continue to do some of these things. I heard the lady call from, we talk about we're a godly nation. They call this a nation of God, a nation under God. And to hear the evangelical style to be so accepting. I have a lot of conservative friends, and it's funny how we interact with one another, how they defend the president, and they don't hear anything. But I think of how would people think, are they hearing really this being outlined, that our president let down an ally who was being attacked by our enemy, that he was like supporting the enemy even.
Right.
How does that look to people? Or a president, if you're a Christian, someone who is known to lie 11 times a day, that doesn't go into Christianity any kind of way.
Right.
I'm not down on anybody. I don't think people should agree all the time. It's amazing that people can agree, or that a person can have a different opinion than me. That's awesome. And that the Republicans have stuck together in such a way, that's amazing for somebody to pull that off, to keep people together and unified. People ought to see what you can do when you got that kind of unity. But there's so many things, like the Prime Minister of, Israel, who was indicted and friends with the president, or taking up for the North Korean dictator, or defending those kinds of things. I just can't imagine it could be any reason other than people haven't had time to see these numbers. And you got to remember, the president really didn't win this election except in the Electoral College. If blacks in Michigan and Ohio had turned out similar to when they turned out for Obama, then President Trump would not be in office today. Those are some of my thoughts.
Thank you, Reverend. We always love hearing from you. Appreciate it. And I will say, I'm the youngest of 6 kids, and we're all over the political spectrum in my family. Yet we still all get along, I love to listen to both my liberal brothers and my conservative sister, and one of my brothers is real conservative and others a libertarian. I love listening to their input, and so you like to think that we can all listen and gather information, and that of course is one of the arguments that the House managers are using, that they really feel that this is a serious issue, that the president withheld this aid and purely for political gain, putting our foreign policy and putting this brand new president in Ukraine who's a reformist. There's a lot of tentacles here, but it's their argument.
Yeah. No, and it's a serious argument.
It is.
The interesting thing is, of course, that even though he attempted it, and this is kind of the interesting thing, he was unsuccessful. I mean,
it didn't happen.
The Ukrainians don't even seem to have known that this was what he was trying to do. So, it's almost as if even if he was doing this sort of quid pro quo, they're just so inefficient at doing it, they can't get it done.
Interesting. And now you're hearing, all politics is a quid pro quo.
Well, yes.
I do this for you, and I get to take money back to my district and pork belly this and all. Yeah, anyway, we got to take another break, everybody. We will be right back. Stay with us.